I think I've had a chance to meet just about everybody in here, and just want you to know how excited I am. Obviously, to be here and be back on the field. I'm excited about this, and excited about the opportunity to bring a lot to Auburn. And again, just this opportunity and be back with or be with Coach Malzahn and what he's done and what he's built. And so with that, I'll open up for questions.
I guess first of all, talk about your role this week and then for the bowl game.
Yeah, this is a lot of observation. Being out, observing a lot, trying to get to know the players, and listening, being in staff meetings, and just relating terminology and what was this, what's called this, what I called it, and just trying to get a familiarity with the offense. And so in the bowl game, my role, I'll be in the press box, and obviously we've helped game plan this week with Coach and the staff, and be up there and just going through looks and knowing the game plan inside and out.
Coach, you've scouted obviously over the last couple of years playing them, but I mean, any just initial observations here now as you're evaluating from a different point of view?
Really not. As we went through, obviously looking at the defensive side of the ball as we were game planning for Auburn, but getting to know the offensive guys, the skill set on the offensive side of the ball. That's kind of been my role this week, and just kind of, again, just trying to get familiar with the players and let them get familiar with me a little bit. And I'm in meetings. I'm not obviously running meetings, but I'm in and talking. And Coach allows me to add if I see something, go ahead and add, and add some insight. So that's been really good. And obviously knowing Auburn and being here, several times before and different stops. I'm really excited about being a part of the Auburn family, and the toughness and just the drive of Auburn football, one of the top programs in the country year in and year out, and that's really excites me.
Chad, is there some? I mean, obviously your business is a difficult one at times, but to be back in a situation where you're more hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're excited about?
When you take on a head coaching role, it's you've got 120 guys that you have to worry about, and some of the fondest times of coaching, and I enjoyed my time as a head football coach, don't get me wrong, but some of my fondest times is when you are on when I was an offensive coordinator and being able to cut the roster in half and deal with a certain position group and really get into that and really get on the field and really kind of get your hands dirty and coach. And so I'm excited about that and being in that role.
What's it like? You guys have known each other for so long, and talk football for so much, to now be in the same meeting rooms. What's that like?
Well, we've always talked about it for years, and I've known Coach since early 2000s, and so to be in, and obviously Coach Malzahn has an incredible offensive mind, and I wouldn't be standing where I am today in college football without Coach Malzahn. And it, like I said, goes back to our time in high school. And from that year, ever since, we would always talk football and really get specific, and even sharing staffs when I was a coordinator and he was a coordinator, bringing our guys together. And then to be in the same room with him, I'm excited about learning and, again, and continuing to grow and bringing value and bringing some things that we do.
Yeah, how much does it help though that background, how each other thinks already, and the background of maybe basis of offense?
Yeah, it's definitely has helped a bunch, a whole bunch. I mean, your learning curve of what they call this and this. I mean, that's minor, but when when you look at different things and how the day is structured, how the practice is structured, what you're expecting, what you look for in your checks, what you look for in your answers, that's really been helpful.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know the way things at Arkansas is not how you wanted it, but during this time from then to now, what did you learn about yourself and moving
Well, I cherish my time and our players, around some great people. But the time off that I had, the 3.5 weeks, whatever it was, 4 weeks, you go through a lot of range of ups and downs, and you realize that at the end of the day, I just want to coach football. I want to be out, and I want to be make a difference. And that's what I missed. That time off was the interaction with players, the interaction with the staff. I really missed that.
Would you try to get back in coaching as soon as possible, even if Gus wasn't around? Like, oh man, that situation makes so much sense, even if it's this quick.
I don't know that. That's a question that I would have had to really sit and discuss. Because when you go through that, my focus was my family, and then what was right for the next step in our journey, and I was wanting to make sure that if I did get back in, that it was going to be in the right situation, and here it is.
Is it just strange how things kind of work out, when you get to your lowest maybe?
Yeah, you have no idea how strange that is. Yeah, it is. It really is, and I'm very blessed. I'm an extremely blessed individual, far more than I deserve. But to be here where I am today, standing in this podium in this team room, I'm extremely honored and blessed that my family is going to get to be a part of the Auburn family.
Chad, let me ask you about quarterbacks a little bit. You've worked with a bunch through your time as a coach. Talk about what you're looking for in quarterbacks and then what you want to try to get out of quarterbacks. How you get the best out of them.
Well, when you go way back and you start looking at the number of quarterbacks that we've coached and developed and the successes those guys have had, there's one thing that stands in mind is they're winners. They're winners on the field. They're winners off the field. They come from winners. Their parents are winners. And it may be that one of our quarterbacks that we've had in the past had a mom and she had 3 jobs, and she's a winner. And so when you look at Bo, he's a winner. That's all he knows, and he comes from a winning family. And being able to observe him on the other side of the field this year, and watching his skill set and watching him develop this year, was from game 1 to when we played him, you just saw progress each week. And now being here just a short 5 days that I've been around, he can't get enough of film work with me. He can't come in the office enough. He's picking my brain and just wanting to know what I see, and that's exciting because you have a quarterback that wants to be elite and is going to do what it takes to be elite.
Is that a must in your mind as a quarterback, just to have a guy like that goes to that much detail?
Yeah, you have to, and that's it. And I've said this in my coaching background at all levels. If you have one of those guys, you have a chance. And it doesn't matter what level of football you're at. And so it's an absolute must.
You talked about your role for the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Malzahn said you'll be in the box. Have y'all discussed where you'll be and how play calling is going to be handled down the road?
Our focus right now is getting through this bowl game. And Coach and I will sit down and go through all that in the weeks and months to come. And but I'm excited about the direction.
Aside from the work with the quarterbacks, what is it you feel you'll really be able to bring to this offense to kind of maybe spice things up or put your own spin on it?
Well, there's a lot of same but different in our offense. A whole lot of same, but there's a little bit different, and I think I'll be able to add to. Obviously, there's a lot of really good things. And Coach, as I mentioned earlier, is an incredible offensive mind. He's got great. The way he thinks is incredible. And then I think when you can bring two people in that think a lot alike, but have some, have a few different ideas, whether that's in, some of the things that we can add, and, we do a little bit different or have done a little bit different in the passing game. I bring some value there, bring in, some different ideas, but yet still be able to do what our players can do.
What did you see in his offense or what he was doing in Arkansas that made you want to go observe and learn from him back?
Yeah, that's a story that'll probably take us about an hour to tell at the minimum. But I would tell you this: it's, as you mentioned earlier, how things go full circle. This was early 2000s, and we had not. I took over a program, and we didn't go to the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. And so you're kind of at the bottom of your career. You're kind of at a low point in your career. And a friend of a friend of a friend got me in touch with Coach, and it took me about 2 or 3 weeks of watching him and what he did and was doing to see if that was something that I wanted to step out and step over a line, knowing that another bad year you may not have a job, and coaching high school football. And so going and observing him for a few weeks and watching games, I remember sitting in a restaurant in an airport in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and with our staff. And I said, if we're willing to do this now, we all have to be all in on it because it's a little bit different. And we did, and we went all in on it. And he was doing things. He was on cutting edge, and he still is. And so that really intrigued me. I'm an out of the box thinker. I love numbers. I majored in math, I minored in statistics. Those things intrigue me. And when you can think outside of the box and you have to have answers, that's what I'm about. And we immediately hit it off.
What are maybe some of the base differences, or even if you want to go in depth with your passing game compared to Gus's passing game, and how it's obviously, I'm sure it's branched and evolved over these last 15 years?
Yeah, I think it's more of, we just evolved. We evolved, when we were at my other stops that we've been at, and our time at Clemson and wide receivers that we had, we evolved a little bit from there, from the personnel. And I think that it's really hard to say this is what's the difference. It's just really kind of evolved and maybe went down this branch just a little bit more, and we've kind of and we recruited in that regard, and then sometimes you have to develop with what you have, and so that's kind of a little bit about it.
I know it's only been a short time, but how do you feel about the receivers you got here and the receivers you guys just signed yesterday?
Well, I'm very excited about the guys here. I've had a chance to obviously be at practice the last few days and see these guys in person. Playing against them, I think there's a lot of talent. I think we've signed a really good class. This coaching staff did a great job of doing that. And you continue to sign speed, and I've said it forever that you either have speed or you're chasing it, and you don't want to be chasing speed.
Good time for a few more. We got some players upstairs.
Jen, do you feel like pace is still really, when you got up with Gus in the beginning, he was all about pace.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of had to adapt that a little bit as he's gotten up higher and now we're in the SEC. Do you still feel like pace is really crucial?
Well, I do, and I think again it goes back to adapting. I mean, we talked about this and have talked about it for years, and the way things have kind of evolved. When people say we play with pace, play with tempo, there's really fast tempo. There's tempo. You slow it down, and when you talk to defensive coordinators and you're around guys that the one thing that is difficult is guys that change the tempo of a game. You go fast at a certain point, then you slow it down, you huddle them up. And so the ability to change the pace of a game is what I think is more valuable than just saying, I'm this speed the entire time, to where you allow a defense to just say, well, okay, I got to adapt to that speed the entire time. The ability to change the tempo to me is very critical nowadays.
How much difference does it make in that respect when they start to pass the rules to allow the defense to substitute if the offense substitute?
I think you started seeing some of it then, that you had to when you're trying to get personnel packages on the field, and now you're having to wait and let the defense get their personnel package on the field. Again, I think you started really seeing, because Coach and I have talked about that, started seeing the ability to change the tempo of a game became a little bit more heavy weighted than just saying this speed the entire time.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
All right, thank you all. War Eagle.